What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're doing well, feeling great, and enjoying freedom. It's a great day to have a great day. Today, I wanted to talk about some of what could happen during a cash shortage at the bank, which, by the way, has happened to many, many banks, many times. Do not allow yourself to be a victim. We're going to get into it, but really quick, just in case you're new, make sure to subscribe for daily videos. Subscribe to my second channel for weekly videos. Get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel. Try out some G Fuel Energy Formula, $5 off your first order by clicking the link in the description. And of course, make sure to go and get your up to 12 free fractional shares by downloading Webull and funding your account. For every friend you refer, Webull's going to give you 15 free fractional shares of some of the most rock-solid companies on the planet. Ford, Coca-Cola, Starbucks, Apple, the list goes on. Don't pass up on an opportunity. It's free. Everything will be linked in the description. All right, so today I wanted to talk about something that I haven't talked about in a little while. In fact, this is something that hasn't even been on my radar for a while. I just remember at the beginning of the 2020 collapse of planet Earth, a friend of mine reached out. Coincidentally, the friend of mine that introduced me to the silver stacking concept. He told me that the bank he uses is actually experiencing a cash shortage. Now, this is not something that was supposed to be equal across the board. It's not like every bank was experiencing a cash shortage and customers were having trouble withdrawing their cash. This was just something that was happening exclusively to his bank. But upon further research, I found out that it wasn't just his bank. It was actually a lot of different banks. A lot of banks were experiencing this problem. And this is something that has happened several times in the past to several different banks in the past. And I just wanted to use this video as a way of explaining some of what could happen in the event of a cash shortage. So sitting here on display, obviously we have a 1, 5, 10, 20, and $50 bill. Have a little bit of silver, a little bit of gold out here as well. And here's the thing. If you have a bank account, checking account, savings account, whatever it is that you have, if you have a bank account, sure, FDIC insured. Sure, it's protected. Sure, it's safe. But is it? Is it safe? Is it actually safe? I mean, here's the thing. Best case scenario, no, it's not safe, because best case scenario, it all stays in there. You have access to it at all times. You can go to the ATM 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Weekends and holidays, the ATM is still working. Sure. Best case scenario, you never run into an issue. Best case scenario, the ATM is never down. Best case scenario, you always have access to mobile banking or online banking. Sure, best case scenario, you can withdraw all of your funds, 100% of it at any moment. Sure, but best case scenario, it still loses purchasing power as time goes by. So best case scenario, it's still not safe. Even if it's kept in there and safely stored. It's not a safe store of value, but that's not what we're talking about here. Worst case scenario, what if there's a problem? What if there's a worldwide health crisis? It's not like that could ever happen, right? Sure, that'll never happen again. Yeah, we had the Spanish flu. Yeah, we had that. Yeah, we had Ebola. That'll never happen again. Boom, 2020 happens, and guess what? It happened again. People were not prepared for that. Nobody, who in the world would be prepared for that? Nobody was expecting 2020 to happen or the way that it did. But here's the thing. If it happened in 2020, it could happen in 2023 or 2025 or 2062. It's happened before, and it will, without a doubt, happen again. Maybe not that specifically. Maybe not a worldwide health crisis. Maybe it'll be some other type of crisis. Maybe it'll be a financial collapse. Maybe it'll be this. Maybe it'll be that. Maybe it'll be a natural disaster on steroids. Who knows? Point being is when people go into a panic frenzy, a lot of the time they will withdraw cash because they need to have cash on hand. in the event of an emergency, in the event of an evacuation, in the event of whatever, they want to have their cash. They need to have their cash. But what happens if a crazy amount of people all start withdrawing their cash at the same time? Only half would get their money. And if you want to make it even more extreme, forget a bunch of people all withdrawing. What if everyone is withdrawing? You know what that would mean? It would mean only 10% get their money. Only 10%. Can you imagine that? That's my stock market opening alarm. I apologize. Can you imagine you and 9 other people you know? 10 people. Think about it. 9 other family members that you have. You all call each other up and be like, hey, there's an emergency going on. Go to the bank, get your money. Imagine all 10 of you go to the bank and only one of you gets your money. Imagine you and 99 other people that you know, everybody that you went to high school with, all 100 of you go to the bank and only 10 of you get your money and the rest of you get 0. Imagine that. To me, that does not sound safe. Yeah, it's insured through the bank. The bank's the ones that's holding it. Yeah, it's insured. Yeah, sure, it's insured. We'll even give you 0.001% interest for allowing it to sit here. Meanwhile, we'll 10x it on our part. For every dollar they loan out, I think it's $10. They could turn a single into a 10, I believe. I believe that's the magic trick that they play. And then they give you like 1/10 of a penny for allowing that to happen. Sure, yeah, but it's insured. Somebody breaks into your house. It's in the bank. Sure, yeah, okay. I think cash is better stored elsewhere. In fact, I think cash is better stored not in cash. Now, of course, you got to have some cash. Sure, you should absolutely have an emergency fund, a cash emergency fund, and you can have it in a savings account or a checking account. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that, other than what I was saying before. But if it's just a small amount of cash, 1 to 3 months worth of expenses stored away, to me, that's okay. I don't have an issue with that. If you want to put it in the bank, go ahead. If you want to bury it in the backyard, go right ahead. If you want to hide it under your bed, go ahead. If you want to lock it up in the safe, go ahead. A cash emergency fund that you can access with ease, I think is mandatory. It's a mandatory part of preparation. You got to have some cash in case things go south, because the last thing you want to do is sell some of your assets to get the cash to then use for whatever it is that you need to use it for. Number one, it would take up some time. And also two, a lot of the time where people are freaking out and panicking and trying to get as much cash as possible, a lot of the time that's when the markets are down. So do you want to sell something at a loss, or do you want to sell something when the markets are in the red just because you need the cash because you don't have any cash? No, you want to have some cash. Yes, it's depreciating in value. Yes, it's not insured if it's not left in the bank. Yeah, I understand that, but you got to have a little bit of cash. I, however, think cash is smarter. The rest of your cash, beyond your emergency fund, is better off parked elsewhere. Parked in different asset classes. Real estate, number one. Many of us do not have the currency to get involved in real estate, myself included. I do not own any real estate. I do not own any farmland. I do not own any houses. I do not own real estate. I would like to at some point, but at this time, I do not, and I have never. Precious metals, I believe, in my opinion, a much smarter way to go than currency. I believe real, true, honest money is much, much more intelligent than fake fiat, glorified IOU, government printed dollar bills, especially long-term. Stocks, I believe, way better way to go. Index funds, even better, top tier, in my opinion. And as I said in the intro of the video, since we're speaking of stocks, make sure to go and get your up to 12 free fractional shares by downloading Webull and funding your account. For every friend you refer, they're going to give you 15 free fractional shares of some of the most rock-solid companies on the planet: Ford, Coca-Cola, Starbucks, Apple, the list goes on. Do not pass up on an opportunity. It's free. Link in the description. The S&P 500, for example, since we're talking about index funds, has an average annual return of 10%. Or if you factor in inflation and dividends reinvested, it's about 7 to 8%. A whole lot better than cash, which loses purchasing power every moment of the day, every day of the week, every week of the month, every month of the year. That's inevitable. That is guaranteed to happen. And it's not necessarily a bad thing in the short term, unless, of course, we have high inflation, which we've had all last year. But I believe index funds, specifically the S&P 500, which has an average annual return of 7 to 8% adjusted for inflation with dividends reinvested, much better. You will have bad years like you did last year, down 19%. You will have good years like the year before last year. We were up like 23% or something like that. But on average, 7 to 8%, adjusted for inflation with dividends reinvested. In addition to stocks and index funds, business, starting a business, parking your dollar bills in equipment for your business, and reinvesting back into your business and growing your business, spending on advertising for your business, hiring people to help you grow your business and expand your business, and do a better job performing certain tasks than you can for your business. I believe that is another example of a much, much better way of utilizing your cash, by spending your cash on something that builds a business for you. Because at the end of the day, see, a lot of people talk, and I'm not one of those doomsday people, by the way. I'm not, saying, oh, the dollar bill is going to collapse on Wednesday. No, that's not me. I don't believe that. I believe the dollar bill is here to stay for at least a little while. Dollar bill is going to be around. The dollar bill is going to hang out for some time. But hypothetically, let's just say the dollar bill were to collapse. If your entire net worth is in dollar bills, then your net worth collapses. Meanwhile, these other asset classes, business, stocks, and real estate, if the dollar bill were to collapse and be replaced by a new currency, a different version of the dollar bill, a digital version of the dollar bill, then all of these asset classes will be worth X amount of whatever the new currency is. See, here's the thing. If you have, let's just say $100 worth of silver, and then the dollar bill is just no longer a thing. Let's call the new currency, let's call it nonsense coin. The federal nonsense coin. Now all of a sudden you have 100 federal nonsense coins worth of silver. Your $100 bill is now worth nothing. You have $100 worth of Apple stock. Replace the currency, now you have 100 federal nonsense coins worth of Apple stock. $100 in the S&P 500, you have 100 federal nonsense coins worth invested in the S&P 500. Your business earns you $100, now it earns you 100 federal nonsense coins, which you can then reinvest those 100 federal nonsense coins back into your business and earn even more federal nonsense coins. $100. Well, might be a weird example with real estate. $100,000 in real estate. Now it's 100,000 federal nonsense coins worth of real estate. So these asset classes, they will always be worth something. Silver and gold will always be worth something. You go to a different country, it's the same thing. Sure, it's not worth X amount of dollars worth of dollars. It's worth X amount of whatever their currency is. The same thing goes. But if your currency goes to zero, your currency just goes to zero. That's an asset class that's more of a house of cards than an asset. That's a liability right there. In fact, by definition, it is a liability because it costs you money. Dollar bills cost you money to hold on to because they lose purchasing power. These other asset classes, I consider to be, in my opinion, a safer store of value, business stocks, real estate, precious metals, than the dollar bill. Sure, some outperform others. Sure, real estate does better than this, or stocks do better than that, or silver, did better than gold last year, but gold outperformed silver in that year. Sure, you can, make all these weird comparisons. You can talk about which one's the best, or which one you like the most, or which one underperforms or outperforms the market. Sure, but guess what? Across the board, all of these asset classes do better than the dollar bill. So anyway, coming around full circle, when it comes down to it, a cash shortage is possible. A cash shortage has happened at many banks at many different times. I believe that having a small cash position to take care of yourself during a short-term emergency is a mandatory form of prepping. It's up to you. It's your own discretion if you want to leave it in the bank where it is insured, or if you want to have it in your possession. I just don't believe you should have your entire net worth in cash, nor should you have your entire net worth sitting in the bank. To me, that doesn't sound safe. To me, that sounds incredibly dangerous, if I'm going to be honest with you. Especially in the event of an emergency where a bunch of people are withdrawing all at the same time. Because in a situation like that, only half would get their money. And if everyone withdrew at the same time, only 10% would get their money. Something to think about. I want you guys to head on down in the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. Have you ever been, I don't want to say the victim of a cash shortage, but the victim of a cash shortage? Have you ever gone to the bank and you were unable to withdraw your funds, your money? Which, by the way, when it's sitting in the bank account, you can't say that's my money. You have to say that's our money because you share that with the bank. It's no longer your money. It's our money. Have you ever gone to an ATM and the ATM was down, but the bank was closed, so you couldn't even go inside? Have you ever tried to do some mobile banking, but the app wasn't working? Some online banking, but the site was down? It's a scary feeling. I've been there. Before I got into the whole stacking and prepping and investing, I've been there a while ago. And it was very short-lived. It was just one day where it wasn't working and I couldn't even access the ATM. Scary feeling to not have access to your own money. Head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. If you guys like today's video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, subscribe to my second channel, which is my backup channel for exclusive weekly content. Get yourself some DYDSS merchandise to help support the channel in the biggest possible way. Try out some G Fuel Energy Formula, $5 off your first order by clicking the link in the description. Over 50 different flavors to choose from. And of course, make sure to go and get your up to 12 free fractional shares by downloading Webull and funding your account. You could deposit as little as you'd like, even as little as a penny. It still works. It still counts. You still get your up to 12 free fractional shares. And for every friend you refer, Webull's going to give you 15 free fractional shares of some of the most rock-solid companies on the planet: Ford, Coca-Cola, Starbucks, Apple. The list goes on. Please do not pass up on an opportunity. Take advantage while you can. Everything will be linked in the description. And if you don't want the free stocks, go and get them anyway. They're free. Get them, sell them. Congratulations, now you have the cash to go whatever it is that you actually want to get. Link in the description. And I want you guys to head on down to the comments and let me know anything and everything related to today's video topic. When it comes to the possibility of a cash shortage, have you heard of this happening before? Have you heard of banks experiencing this problem before where they're not prepared to give their customers their own money? And have you specifically ever been the victim of a cash shortage? Like I said in the beginning of the video, I'll say it again in the outro. Do not be a victim. Be proactive and take care of yourself, physically, mentally, and of course financially. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you tomorrow. Don't you dare stop smiling. Peace.